Looks like good top down weather out there. Getting some work done on the car while it's cold and snowy out. So here's what I've been doing. While it was snowing out, I came out here and sealed the seams. That was a lot of work cleaning all that stuff out. And I get in there by hand and sand it as best I could to get all the surface rust out. And then I zinc chromate primed it and resealed it, and then I'll zinc chromate over that, or sandable primer over that. I'll prime over that, and so I just got to finish sanding this out and sand out in there a bit, and just finish sand all those down, and then I can that's why I might prime the sealer so nothing sticks in it, and get all that sanded out maybe in a day or two if the weather's a little more cooperative, to stir up dust outside and maybe shoot some paint. I sealed these too, so they're all sealed up, and everything, and all the joints around in here, and I reprimed a lot of that. I did that yesterday. I did this today. This is what I'm using. So I was starting to work on the trunk, and you can see these are the drain holes for this channel. They're completely full of the seam sealer, so how are they going to drain that lip? This one's even a little rusted out around the edge of it there. This one's gone, and that one's full of seam sealer. So I'm going to start cleaning this up and maybe gently peel this back so I can cut this out, bend a new piece and put it in there. That's the drain hole cleaned out. I took the latch and the lock cylinder out. You can see this is all that holds the lock cylinder, and is that clip, and 3 bolts hold the latch on, and you can see the light down in there. It's right there. I'll take that out because I'm not going to pull the wiring out from underneath all this, so I'm just going to take the light out and tape it up way up in there so I don't get paint on it. Put it back. I'm working on the trunk lid, saying it might be the weekend before I can get to painting or doing anything like that. I might start masking it. It snowed today. It's supposed to snow on Friday, so maybe Friday, if it's snowing, I'll work on masking so I can paint Saturday if it's nice. Today's Wednesday, so I don't know how many days this video is going to be over. But anyway, you can see these pits left some holes. I got in there with my body hammer and beat the heck out of it, and then took a screwdriver and scraped all the stuff out of the pits that I could, and really dug down into them. And because I was going to cut this out originally and replace it all the way from here to here, but this has a bend in it here and another bend in it here, and it changes as it goes along just slightly, so just be a lot easier to. I cleaned it all up. I'm going to take my welder and just weld in all the pits, holes or not. Like this pit right here, I can hit that with a welder. It'll probably burn through instantly, and then I can weld it up. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. There's no hole there, but I'll count that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 holes and pits across there to weld in, which will take me not very long per one. I mean, just 30 seconds or so I can weld a hole in. Then I can grind this off. And this rusted from this side through. I'll show you the other side. You're going to be surprised how clean the other side of that is. Now hopefully I can hold the camera and the light, and the mirror's kind of shining. Okay, so those holes are those ones. Look at how clean that metal is in there. Can you see it in the mirror? Let me just shove the camera up there. I don't know what I'm videoing, but it looks pretty clean up there, so I think I'm going to that's why I decided to weld in just those holes in that, replace this all the way up, because I can see anything that's pitted very clearly that I need to put a little dab of weld in, and then I can grind the weld off. When I'm done, that'll be just fine. And this was where it was rusted out on the edges, so you can kind of see that was the far end down there. This, I took this out in pieces, but you get the picture. It's all out. And cleaning this edge right here, I knocked a couple holes because it doesn't appear to be any pits or anything. It looks like it, you know, you can see shiny metal. It just, even where I just scratched it there with the screwdriver, it's shiny. And it's more primer, and it's not really bad at all rust-wise, but you can see a little pit and hole there and there. And on this side of the trunk lid, there was a couple little imperfections in the paint. So I got to really digging and got some holes, so I'll weld those holes in too. There's no point in putting a complete patch. This is where I was beating it with the hammer. There's no rust there. I was kind of just checking things, and that was, you know, over here, because see how that's bulged out? Usually when things are bulged out, that's because rust has pushed on it, like a press pushed it out. But there's nothing in there now. I cleaned everything out. That's opened up. I can put a screwdriver up in there, and I beat this side, and that's solid. So I just made a mess of something that was unnecessary, but I wanted to make ultra sure there was no rust. I don't want to have new paint on here bubbling, you know, so that's got to be all good. So when I'm done with everything painted on this, this is going to be crucial to get oil down in here and undercoating, and fortunately there's easy access into that compartment to do that. You can see that's all, look at that, there isn't even paint. It's all bare metal. It's like that the full length across. So I'm going to try and paint up in there too. And I guess if it's lasted 54 years, it'll last another 54 if it'll be looked after hopefully a lot better than it has in the past. Back to the trunk for a moment. I always prime my seam sealer, and I'll show you why I do that. So if you have any little gaps or imperfections in your seam sealer, it shows up after it's primed, so I know that that's not a perfect sealer, so I'll go back and add a little sealer to it. That's why it's, you know, a good idea just blow some primer on your sealer just to see how it looks when you're done. Does this show up? I don't know, maybe not, but yeah, it's been like this all day, snowing on and off. It's coming down pretty good right now. I put this stuff on the surface rust on here. This stuff works pretty darn good. That'll take care of that. So that'll sit overnight, and then I'll clean it up with a rag with some water and wire brush it, sand it, whatnot. That'll neutralize any rust that's in there. So I got it all welded up, and I got a little bit of, I even welded these holes here up, but I got a little bit of warpage. I don't know if it shows up right there, and I think I can get, because I can get in those holes in the trunk here, in these holes, to get up in there to bump that out. So I'm going to try and straighten it up the best I can. I'm going to let the metal cool, and then I'm going to get in there, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of warping right where those welds are there. There's a little bit right there. Like a little bit, pretty much all from the lock cylinder down to about there, there's some warpage. So I'll see if I can bump most of that out, and what I can't, when we strip the paint, we'll put a little filler in it. You can see how I welded in all those little rust holes. I welded in all the deep pits too, just in case. So it's not going to go anywhere. Flattening this back out over the sheet metal, I just spot welded every so far like it was originally done with it jammed up in there. Now I'll just put the seam sealer on that joint all the way around. This I'll grind out and probably have to put a smidge of body filler on these welds and stuff to fill the pits. Here, I'll turn the exhaust ventilator off. Yeah, I think I'm getting most of the warpage out, but there is still some in it. So I'll just force around with it here for a while. This off. Alright, so I'll just horse around doing this, get the warpage out as best I can, then I'm going to take it outside and grind the welds. I think that feels pretty darn good. Almost feels, that's hard to say. Feels like there's a high spot just right there. It might be because I was pushing out with this tire iron and that block and just kind of trying to get all this warpage out. And I think I got 90% of it out. I'm going to have to put a little filler around this. Those welds make it really strong, and I can't. That's in just a fuzz. I can feel it as it could just be the paint, but just like right around in there, it's in. That's out, and I pounded it in a bit, and but it sucked in right where that weld was. It sucked it way in, so I got it out. I think we're going to call that good. I think I'm going to grind the welds, and then I'll take my air file to this and see, when I strip it, get that all nice and straight too. It did have some, it wasn't perfect to begin with. When I took it off, you could see some minor little flaws in it, but we're going to straighten it all up so it looks good. All right, I'm going to get it outside and do some grinding. Hopefully it's not snowing out. It was snowing out a half an hour ago. There we be. It is sanded out, and I put primer on there, and I'm going to put some Marglass on there tonight so it can dry overnight and give it a quick sand tomorrow. I got the back side here. All this is pretty much all Marglassed in. I put zinc chromate primer on it first, and then I put the Marglass on it, and that's pretty much all dry to the touch. And the Marglass is, so I'll let that dry overnight, and I'll sand that tomorrow. And then I'll put the Dremel with Scotch-Brite and go around and get all edges, all that stuff, so I can recaulk the seams. And then once, like I say, that's sanded out, this side will be ready for paint, but I'll flip it over and strip the other side and get it ready for paint before I paint this side, so I don't scratch this or mess this up prepping the other side. So I want to get the other side all stripped bare metal, and then we'll tackle that. I'm going to call it a day. Basically got everything I could get done today. We're supposed to get a couple inches of snow tomorrow, so I'll see what I can do tomorrow, but I'm sure I can sand that filler out. I'll just have to do it in here instead of outside, and then just vacuum it up. It was nice being able to do the grinding and sanding outside. I can just blow the stuff out there and don't have to worry about a big mess. If I'm going to be painting in here, I don't want all kinds of dust in here, so that's why I kind of try and do it outdoors. But anyway, that's it. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button. It certainly helps. If you want to see this neat old Galaxie all done up and this finished, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.